I have a question. I finished the book. The movie isn't due out until this month. It's called The Moses Code. And it teaches things that I don't want to believe to be true, because I'm believing your teachings where you tell us we can have, be, and do anything I want. The Moses Code says that the ego wants these things. And Eckhart Tolle's saying that in his new book too, Heavenly Earth or whatever it is. And that the soul wants things, as Jesus referred to, love, compassion, don't build up your treasures that can rust or, go away. And I don't understand how there could be such opposite thoughts, because the guy that is doing the movie from the Moses Code also worked with The Secret. You understand what I'm saying? Is that the ego, which is separate from the soul, which you're saying that source is just the soul. So we can have, do, and be if we're coming to alignment. And they're telling you almost it's a bad thing. That's the ego thing. The soul just wants love and compassion and things that you are not tangible.
From time to time, people will talk to us about the inappropriateness of desire or the inappropriateness of wanting. And they will explain it in that way, that when you are spiritual, that you are reaching for something other than things of a physical nature. And we understand how you often come to condemn things that are of a physical nature by trying to say that there are spiritual ideas or concepts or beingness, and then there is material. But we want you to understand that in all of that conversation is a further separating of man from source. What we are continually trying to present in a way that you can feel it and hear it, and in a way that your dog will teach it better than any words that we could offer will give it to you, is that there is not separation between what is non-physical and what is physical. And that everything is vibration, and things that are of a physical nature are just extended, exaggerated vibration. To say that things of a material nature are inappropriate or not as good as things that are non-physical is to defy your reason for being. In other words, if you are source energy before you come into this physical body, what is the reason that you come forth? In other words, why do you come forth into this leading edge experience but for the expansion of the ideas? When people talk about things such as ego or anything really, we notice that different people use same words and mean different things. We also notice that you use sometimes very different words meaning the same things. In other words, language is a little bit of an interesting thing because you're forever trying to come together with others on the ideas of things. And so the definition of what ego is quite a variable. But if we were to take your word ego and express it in the way we know you to be in this physical experience, we would say to you that you are source energy and that you present a part of that consciousness into a personality, and it's all right with us if you want to call that sharp, pointed focus or perception ego, because it is your awareness of the world. It is your worldview. It is your taking of the energy that creates worlds and deciphering it, honing it into a vantage point whereby you egotistically, let's use it, and selfishly define through your format what you believe would be a better experience for you. And when you put it over there into your vibrational escrow, all that is so sure of the value of your egotistical and selfish leading edge genius creator point of view that source follows that rocket of desire and holds steady on that vibration evermore. Now, let's take the idea that some are offering, because it's valid in some sense. Let's say that someone is saying to you, well, you must reach for love rather than things of a material nature. That's a little bit what we were saying to you, rather than beating the drum of I don't have enough money, or beating the drum of I want more money when I don't have enough. If you would let go of your awareness of what you don't have and look for a reason to feel good, in your looking for a reason to feel good, you would become a vibrational match to what's in your vibrational escrow, and all of the treasures of heaven and earth will be yours, you see. Right. In other words, people are reaching for an understanding. People are always trying to bridge their physical perspective with what they believe or hope must be their non-physical vantage point. And there are a lot of different words that have been offered and a lot of different stories over time, always in the effort to help you to come closer and closer into alignment with who you are. As you begin to understand law of attraction, and you begin to understand who you are, and you are beginning to look at situations or listen to conversations through the eyes and ears and physical senses or sense vibrational interpreters of source, we think that you would find value and power and beauty in many places that you have now decided that they are not, you see. So now come back around. Now we've given you that basis. Come back around to the specific discord that you are hearing between this book that you are hearing about and the tenets of this philosophy here. What is it that feels out of whack to you?
That the ego and the soul are two separate parts. And the book teaches you should search for the higher good, which is the soul, instead of the ego.
So how's that so different from what we are talking about in this sense when we say that there is the source you, and when you lean downstream, when you reach for the thoughts that feel better, you'll come into alignment with who you are? In other words, we're using the vernacular of closing the gap. Right. We're using the vernacular of letting go of the resistance that is keeping you from being who you are. The difference, the basic difference between that and this is that we will never agree that it is wrong for you to sift through the data that you came forth to sift in and to come to the conclusions that you've come forth to conclude. We will never agree that those conclusions are then inappropriate. What's going wrong is not that you are asking for the wrong things. What's going wrong is that you ask for them and then you hold yourself vibrationally apart from them. And as you hold yourself vibrationally apart from them, then you suffer. And so many people have seen so many people suffer, and they're trying so hard to get to the root of what the suffering is all about and try to relieve the suffering in some way. And so they're grasping at straws, and in this way and in this way. Oh, you must be suffering because you want something that you shouldn't want. Or, oh, you must be suffering because you were born under the wrong star, or at the wrong time, or you were born into the wrong religion, or you were born into the wrong race. And we say there is never any suffering that is being offered to you from the outside. You're never being challenged or tested by God or anything outside of you. It is the simple function of coming forth, giving birth to something that you're not keeping up with, and your own discord is at the heart of all discomfort, you see. Okay. All of it, every single time. And once you know that, once you really know that, and then you begin listening to the different things that are going on, then you can begin to make sense of everything. Because there is nothing outside the tenets of this powerful law of attraction. And there is nothing outside your vibrational relationship and the indication that your emotions give you about same, you see. Okay. So, to make this clear, we say that you are extensions of source energy. They sometimes want to call that, and put a negative spin on it, ego. So we'll take the ego that they have negatively spun, and we'll say, not negative, it is what you intended. You came forth to focus. And then they'll say, but there are specific things that you're supposed to focus upon. And we say, how are you ever going to sort that out? You're killing people all day, every day, as you argue over what are the spiritual things and what aren't. And then you even nitpick and kill each other over which spiritual things are the right things and which spiritual things are the wrong things. In other words, there are whole groups of people that are godly, that have no physical well-being at all. They've pinched themselves off from all of that stuff, and they're still killing each other as they're arguing over who has the right idea about the spiritual stuff. And we say, there's got to be a better way. There's a whole better way, you see. So, as you understand that you are extensions of source energy, only when you know that you are source, that you are, if you want to use the word God, only when you know that you are that, do you then stop condemning yourself And only then are you in a position that you can see others as they really are. But you can't just assign yourself that label. You've got to train yourself into the vibration of that, you see. Do you know why all of your power is here and now? Because right here, right now, you have the ability to focus, and you can only focus here and now. While you're focusing here and now, you can focus about the past, or you can focus about the present, or you can focus about the future, but you're doing it all right here and now. So here is this juncture where you have the opportunity to come into alignment with who you are or not. That's why all of your power is here and now. You have the power to lean in the direction of the vibration of your source or not. You have the power to come into alignment and see this moment in time through the eyes of source or not. So the question that we want to ask you, as you've come into that alignment and you're using that powerful now to come into alignment with who you are, so you're seeing the world through the eyes of source, do you really believe that source under those conditions would look at you or other humans and call you egotistical and inappropriate in your wanting? When all that is here is for the variety, for you to pick and choose, when all of it is an extension of that which is source, it is so interesting to us how many people put such human attitudes and personalities into the mouth and head of that which they want to call God. That source energy loves, it does not hate. It is life. It does not bring death. It is about well-being. It is not about putting down. It is about worthiness. It is not about unworthiness. It is about upliftment. It is not about downtrodden. It is about empowerment. It's not about disempowerment. It's about speaking of your values and your strengths. It's not about speaking of your inadequacies and your deficiencies, you see. Right. You are source in physical bodies, and to the degree that you feel good, you're being it now, being it now, being it now. So we would have to say that if someone were to come to you in watching you in the choosing of something about your life, and they were to say to you, from what I know, you seem to be choosing inappropriately because you are choosing something that I would not choose. You just have to say, then please choose it for you, while I will choose for me.
Exactly.
And to wrap all this up, spend no time trying to make everything that's out here fit with everything else. Just use the guidance that comes forth from within you to determine the best that you can do in any moment in time, you see. Esther said to us, when she heard things like that, there are people that she really cares about that are teaching things that she thinks are bogus. And she said, Abraham, why don't you guys get your story straight? Why don't you just give us one thing we can all agree on and we'll all call it a day? In other words, why all of this? And we said, if all students were in the same place of living and asking, then one answer would be appropriate. But because you're all in different places from different points of understanding, then there's a lot of information that's being offered in response to where you are. And every teacher understands that you are only as wise as your ability to understand where your student is, you see. And so sometimes, we know, we've been calling this the leading edge for a long time, and there is never a crowd on the leading edge, you see. The majority of those people that were in that secret movie had never heard or uttered the word law of attraction before they were rounded up to do that. It's a really interesting story, but we just want you to know that they were not part of a long time understanding of this, you see. And it is humorous to Esther and Jerry. We are not laughing because we find everything of benefit, but it is humorous to them to see so many people talking about things from a platform of not understanding the genesis of it or the basis of it either, you see. And we want you and Esther and Jerry not to feel like you have to clean up the world. In other words, you don't have to get out there and correct every misconception that is in every corner of every world. There are a whole lot of people that are telling a whole lot of people a whole lot of things from place of their personal perspective. And their personal perspective is valid for them. We just want you to stop making their personal perspectives, whoever they are, including us, we want you to stop making their personal perspectives valid for you, more valid than your own awareness of your own guidance system.
Wow.
Because everywhere you look, there is something of value for you. And everywhere you look, there is something that you may perceive that is not of value for you. And you'll just drive yourselves crazy trying to cleanse the world